This is the cheapest gaming laptop that I ever bought for under $300, and we're going to be seeing how good the FPS still is.
Okay, so this is the laptop I bought all the way back in 2022 on Best Buy, and they actually had this laptop at a really cheap price. And I'm pretty sure in new condition, this was literally one of the cheapest gaming laptops you could ever buy. And this thing literally only cost about $300 brand new. So you guys can tell this is definitely one of the cheapest and most budget gaming laptops that you could have bought. And even now, I'm pretty sure on eBay and like Facebook Marketplace, this gaming laptop in used condition still only goes for about like $120. I also did buy a similar laptop to this with different specs a few months back for only about like $170 used on eBay. But yeah, this right here is the HP Victus 15 gaming laptop. And this was definitely like a really popular laptop on Best Buy, since Best Buy was just selling this laptop for like super cheap. And yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and see if this thing is still any good in 2025. I mean, the specs inside this laptop are definitely pretty outdated, but it should still be able to actually run Fortnite at about like 200 FPS. If you guys take a look at the specs inside of this laptop, it actually has an RTX 2050. I literally never used an RTX 2050 graphics card inside of a laptop before. This thing is just super old. Before the CPU, it has an AMD Ryzen 5 7535HS. So this laptop does have pretty old specs, as you guys can see. And then not to mention, this thing only has 8 gigs of DDR4 RAM. So you guys can definitely tell why this laptop was super cheap. And it's even cheaper to buy this thing now on the used market. But I actually optimized this laptop so many times now. I think I've been optimizing this thing since like 2023. And at one point, this thing actually got 400 FPS. So let's go ahead and see if this thing is still any good. Even though it doesn't really matter since the screen is a 144 Hertz refresh rate. So anything above 144 FPS, we're not gonna really see. But you guys can obviously connect this thing to a monitor or anything like that. Now with this HP Victus gaming laptop, you guys can take a look at the max FPS that we're actually getting. And even though the specs on this laptop are definitely pretty old, you guys can see we're still pushing about 170 to 180 FPS right now. So yeah, obviously we are still running above the refresh rate of 144 Hertz. And once I go ahead and start building, we're still running about 130 FPS right now. It's really consistent at 130 to 155 FPS. So yeah, even with this laptop literally being like 4 years old and only having 8 gigs of RAM, which is a huge setback. I mean, you guys can see we're still running 144 FPS pretty consistently. And then not to mention, this laptop doesn't even overheat or anything at all as well. So honestly, it still makes such a great gaming laptop, especially at the price that you guys could probably buy with it now, being literally so much cheaper than what it was about like 3 years ago when it was already cheap, like new condition, 300 bucks. The laptop definitely still performs really good for gaming. There's literally like no frame drops at all so far, running a really consistent 160 FPS. And taking a look at the max FPS we get in an actual game, it's definitely not as good as what we got in creative, but we're still running about 110 to 120 FPS. And obviously, since this laptop is super old, this thing randomly drops down to about like 90 FPS sometimes. But honestly, for being an extreme budget gaming laptop, the laptop still runs perfectly fine, even literally 3 years after it came out. It's literally performing just as good as it did 3 years ago. Yeah, landing in, we're still running a pretty consistent 90 to 100 FPS. Obviously, there are a few frame drops here and there. You guys can probably see it. But like for the most part, it's running pretty consistently. The game is definitely pretty smooth. There's no huge issues with the laptop, which is definitely good. Full box. Oh, okay, okay, we got a few frame drops there, you guys can see. But for the most part, we're still running at the 110 FPS mark. Definitely a huge problem with this laptop is that it only has 8 gigs of RAM. Like this thing definitely holds it back. Oh, crack. 200. Oh my, bro, where are these kids coming from? I miss. Crack. 200. I mean, you guys can see the game is still running pretty well still. For the most part, we're running at 120 FPS stable until we get into a fight where I believe it just drops down to about like 85 to 90 FPS. But honestly, if you guys could pick this laptop up for $150, like running this good on a laptop is still very good. I'm not even lying, bro. Even though there's frame drops, performance from this thing is still like amazing. It's like really good. Break that. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Box. Edit. I don't know why would you edit that. I don't know why. Yeah, it's running pretty consistently 120 FPS. We're actually below the refresh rate now, but in an actual game, obviously, it's gonna be lower. Back. 200. All right, we're actually not getting too many frame drops now. I think before we were actually getting a lot more, so that's not the best. 20. 200. I'm actually playing pretty good on this laptop, even though it's like below the refresh rate and I'm playing on the laptop's keyboard. 50. I missed. Oh my, one shot. 200, let's go. Yeah, the sweet spot for the entire game was 125 FPS. And then when it does get frame drops, it goes down to only like 90 FPS. Nothing too crazy, but it can honestly just all be fixed, and also getting higher max FPS. This laptop was at 16 gigs of RAM. Cracked. This guy's not real. Okay, he gave up. 50. Oh my, oh my. Where is he? Right here. Crack. 200. Oh. Oh, no. Oh, what the Bro, there's no way I fell. I'm actually mad about that, bro. Okay, there's only 10 people left, and we're running a lot more consistent frames now, but we just got a frame drop just from breaking the tree. But the frames are definitely a lot smoother. The game overall just got smoother. I can definitely feel it. We're getting closer to the 150 FPS mark. Bro, this guy's gone. GG's. 30, oh my lord. Yeah, we're running 144 FPS now, finally. We're running at the refresh rate. Edit. Oh, I literally just gotta go up and fight that. I literally just gotta go up. Cracked. Let him do his thing. Okay. I was waiting for it, bro. I was waiting for it. Let's go, bro. GG's.